The radio button is by far the most popular multiple choice item type. You begin by putting your question text in this box here. You can set this up to be rich text capable if you want to bold, italicize, change the font, look at anything about centering. You can do all that with this rich text box. I'll give a very simple question. What is the capital of Indiana, which is my home state? Below this, you can set the alignment of any images. You can name the radio button, which could be interesting if you're working from an existing item from another system. We set the correct and incorrect responses. Indianapolis, Evansville, Fort Wayne, and Kokomo. The correct answer in this case is Indianapolis. So correctness does not have to be put into a response option, but it can be used in some of the scoring options that you can look at on other tabs. And then it's typically given a point value. This is how some scores like total points are used in our engine. And then the ABC values, these show up on export. So if you want to see how someone did on a question, Bob answered B, Bob answered D. So you'll have to know the mapping between Kokomo and D. Lesser used features, you can also establish hotkeys. If the test has to be taken via a keyboard, you could set 1, 2, 3, 4 for all your A, B, C, D options. You also have the option to remove a question. If this doesn't make sense, you can click on Delete Selected and remove that option altogether, or you can add another response option if that makes more sense as well. Every item has a status. 99 times out of 100, it's going to be active, but you can set it up as experimental so it's not used in scoring, or retired so in item banking scenarios it's not used at all. You can change the format from drop down, checkbox, button option, but we'll just leave this as a radio button. So that's the basic setup in creating an item. On the right hand side of the screen, there are options for layout. So I can set the question left, answer right if I want to, and you can see how that changes. I can display this in 4 columns if I desired, so you can see how the question really changes there. I'll change this back to 1. And I'll move this left to right. I can set widths and heights on the question just so it takes up a certain amount of space. I can set required for the answer and auto advanced upon click. The orientation of the responses we typically make responsive so that if it's delivered via a mobile phone or a tablet, it displays well. But you can see certain things might change as you click on this depending on the item. I'm going to set it to responsive. So creating the item, the authoring of the item, the putting in, and we'll go back to edit this, putting in the point values, the export values, all important attributes. And then the right-hand side is where you establish the layout of those items. This is the same across almost all items, but you can edit, you can copy the item, you can use tags and attributes for item banking and computer adaptive testing, and you can set display rules if a question only shows up if a prior response is answered a certain way. And finally, you can add this to the library if you're working from an item library. And dragging the items is also a way that helps them display in the order that you intended by dragging on this little plus sign here. It's a little bit about the radio button option.